Coming from the Caveman Studios in Buffalo, New York. Welcome to Caveman Corner with your host, Jeff.
Captain Caveman!
Dance.
Click subscribe and the bell. Do it now!
Welcome to Caveman's Corner. Today we're having a very special people in. We're talking about a very special event. We got Pat Gorman. We got Jimmy Scott. Jimmy Scott's huge in social media. Paddy's about to be huge and getting fights booked in Buffalo. So why don't you tell me what you got going on, man? What you got going on, Pat?
So there's an organization in Ireland that's been traveling to the United States since 2016, and they bring a youth boxing organization, and they've been coming here and they've been hitting all the major cities up since 2016. And I applied for the program about 2.5 years ago, and it took me a while to convince them to give Buffalo a shot because they're used to going to Boston and Detroit and Cincinnati and bigger cities. And finally, after a lot of negotiation and a lot of pestering and trying to sell them on how the fighting is here in Buffalo and the history of the Irish, they agreed. So they'll be coming at the end of May, and we're gonna match 12 of Ireland's better and best youth boxers, one especially against Buffalo's finest. That's
a pretty amazing journey, pretty amazing event. You were, last time I saw you, you were still considering fighting, and now you're putting fights on. Like, what happened that got you to this change of role in the fighting venue?
Well, first of all, the fighting, I'm 52 now, Jeff. Okay, my last fight was 46.
I really haven't seen you in like 5 years though.
Hey, how old is Mike Tyson though? Right, he's got.
Yeah, well, Mike Tyson's gonna get paid about 6 figures for that matchup. But
Hey, Caveman, we could get Paddy a fight with the 765 guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, isn't that Skylar's crew?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see those guys. Those guys are always active. They make me laugh every time you guys have them on. They know how to talk up a show.
Yeah. So anyway, you're not able to fight anymore. You're old.
No. I retired from the military in 2016. I retired from the federal government in 17. Got married, had kids, and just became domesticated. And I spend all my time now me, Jeff, better than anybody, just doing stuff for the Irish community and doing a lot of charitable stuff. And that's what this fight is actually. So this fight is not like something that you would see if some of our local, like Keith and Angelo, they're putting on fights because that's their business. The fight that Jimmy and I are putting on, we're donating 100% of the proceeds to charities. So there's 4 main charities in Buffalo we're given to. There's 2 different food banks. We're going to do an adoption event at the City of Buffalo Animal Shelter where we're going to actually buy 10 dogs or 10 cats, what people want, and give them away. And we're given to a foundation that it's called the KIA Memorial Foundation. It stands for Killed in Action, for families whose loved ones were killed in Iraq, Afghanistan, or in the line of duty, whether it be firefighter, police officer, things like that. So Jimmy and I, once we've had the fight paid off, and that's what Jimmy is talking about with the sponsor stuff, which we almost do, then every single penny from these ticket sales is going to go to charities. And then it's going to go to, I haven't really announced it yet, but I'll announce it here, is that we actually are going to be able to send a team to Ireland. So we got accepted into this program. So now we'll be able to take kids from Buffalo that want to fight and want to go over to Ireland. And we're going to do everything we can to pay for their entire trip over there.
Man, that's awesome. So the ISK's been doing it. I'm glad that you guys are getting into it as well. Jimmy, how did you get raked into this adventure? How did you get your way into this?
So, Paddy reached out to me. He had seen my content on social media, probably Facebook.
Yep.
I just thought I'd be somebody good to, join the team to get it going. So I did want to say, so you mentioned the KIA Memorial Road March, but the other 3 charities that the money will go to is the SPCA, the South Buffalo Community Table, and then the Old First Ward Community Center. So I just wanted to make sure that those were mentioned as well. So the sponsors that we do get, they get to choose where the money goes. So that's something that they should know.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So the sponsors kind of get to pick which one of those charities it goes to?
Yes, they do. They get to pick one of them, and also a lot of it goes to these kids coming over from Ireland. They are also a non-for-profit group. They usually take kids that are maybe lacking direction in life, and it's you and Jeff and Ray. You guys know how the fight community can help bring that together. We've seen it, straighten some younger kids out. So it gives them direction, and when these kids graduate from this program, they help them get apartments, help them apply for higher education, get jobs, things like that. So we give money back to that program too, so they can continue this with their kids over in Ireland.
Oh, that's really awesome. So I heard you're still looking for sponsors, Jimmy. How many are you looking for, and what kind of sponsorship are you looking for? Can like a local small business help out? Or are you looking for like
We can, yeah,
$200,000 drops? Or?
we're open to all. I'm talking to, I got a couple follow-ups tomorrow with a couple bigger brands, national brands, but all the way down to local restaurants or, whoever, would want to make it happen. So, everybody's game, all markets, so yeah, it's all good.
So is a sponsorship kind of like a fighter would do that's got like a bronze tier, silver tier, gold tier, like that kind of stuff?
So there's a few different packages. You can sponsor a fighter, you can sponsor a round, and then there's two different packages to sponsor the event. So one of some of the sponsorships come with a ringside table of up to 10 people with 10 tickets, and then the mentioning of the brand or the business that sponsors throughout the night by the ring announcer, and throughout the night. So yeah.
Awesome, that's cool. So like I'm assuming that if you sponsor a fighter, it goes to the like fighter group, like you were saying would go to Paddy, and if you sponsor a business, then it would go to one of the other charities. Is that kind of how it works?
So, if you sponsor a fighter, see, this thing's called the Battle of Buffalo. Okay, so it's Ireland versus Buffalo. Well, we're also doing the battle within Buffalo. So, for example, like what I did is I tried to reach out to all the South Buffalo and the Irish pubs in Western New York, and tried to get them to sponsor one of the Irish fighters. And then and we've been reaching out to local businesses too. Like Jimmy has a few of those. They're going to sponsor a Buffalo fighter. So it's the Battle of Buffalo, Ireland versus Buffalo. But then it's going to be like Molly McGuire's Pub in South Buffalo versus Life After Death Clothing, which is one of Jimmy's sponsors. So that's now a battle within Buffalo. So now Molly McGuire's is facing off against Life After Death. So Molly McGuire's fighter versus Life After Death. And that's how we're doing the Battle of Buffalo. So it's Ireland versus Buffalo, but then it's the Irish fighter versus the Buffalo fighter and whoever sponsored them.
That's pretty cool, man. I like the way that sounds. So like you even got like the competition among the sponsors. That's super cool.
Yes.
I think I would like that if I was sponsoring it. Especially if my team.
We actually put all the sponsors in the same row, in the same area. So, they're all going to be around each other at all times. So that's something too. Like a lot of times when people sponsor a fighter, you just get a certain ticket to come. Well, Jimmy and I are blocking off specific seats, like right front row for all the sponsors. So you can be right in a row. So you could be sitting next to your Irish fighter could be sitting next to the Buffalo fighter sponsor, which would be kind of cool. We're going to try and do that too with the seating and try and put them next to each other. So, you know what I mean? It's just we got to see how many fighters we have at the end. Or I'm sorry, how many sponsors we have at the end for the fighters. But we're going to really pitch this, the Battle of Buffalo. And we're just going to announce the sponsors all night long. And the sponsors get to come in the ring too. So if you sponsor a fighter, you get to come in the ring and medal your fighter. So that's another thing we're doing too.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Hopefully you get TJ or someone down there for security to make sure that the Battle for Buffalo doesn't break out in the stands.
Well, luckily, Tommy Neff took care of that. Ayana's son he's licensed security. He's got a bunch of guys, and I'm probably gonna grab a couple of the fighters from some of the gyms to kind of help out too.
Cool, man. That's a good idea. They're always looking for ways to get in pretty cheap, and like protecting all the fans is a good way to do that. So we talk about sponsors, we talk about packages. How do we get tickets for this? And when is it? And where is it? And how long is it going to be? Let's get some details.
Jimmy, you want to talk about that?
You got it, man.
Okay, so it's May 31st at Buffalo Riverworks. You can go to the just like you do with the K4 fighting. You go to the BuffaloRiverworks.com and you find the event page and you click on. Tickets are really inexpensive. They're $30 for general admission and $40 for ringside. So that's really, really inexpensive compared to, just about anything nowadays. We talked about not going too high because this isn't about really making money. It's about making this event something special. and we want everyone to come to see it because we have a lot of really cool events planned for this, which I don't want to mention on the podcast, especially with the main event and with the opening ceremony. But it's the first time it's ever happened in Western New York. You've never had an entire country fly their fight team over to fight the city of Buffalo. So we want as many people to come out as, to see the thing. And, I'd rather have 1,000 people at $30 than, 500 people at $50. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We want everyone to see this and give these kids from Ireland and Buffalo something that, it's going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity. And now that we've been accepted into the program, I know we get to go to Ireland, but we're hoping that, they come back again,
So what's the seating in the venue? I know it's going to be at Buffalo Riverworks, but what's the seating for your guys' fight? Because I know they can open up the back. Is it 1,000 or is it less than that?
I went over it with Riverworks a couple times, since we're doing something a little different than what Keith sets up at his, and you've been to his events, and and Jeff, you've seen the events that TNT put on outside. I think Ray, you actually fought on a couple of those when TNT had their events up, right? Yep. So ours is going to be, it's going to be, the ring is going to be in the middle. As soon as you come down the aisle, the whole right side of that ring is going to be all the tables, and then you're just going to have the VIP seating around it, and then the general admission on both sides. So
is it indoors or outdoors?
It's under one of the ice rinks.
Oh man, awesome! So they're gonna have the whole backdrop.
Yeah, that's sweet. Yep.
Man, that's amazing. I would say if you guys want cheap tickets to see an amazing backdrop to some great fights, definitely come out to Riverworks to watch that. Like the MMA fights that they have outside on the hockey rink is oh my god, it's like the best.
Yeah, you can see the Skyway in the background.
Yeah, it's so cool.
We had talked about it inside first, but Sean Green thought it would be best if we went outside, just because it's May 31st to June 1st, so it'll be warm and we want it to be a real big experience,
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah, that's really awesome. So is there going to be a pay-per-view or like what
yes,
are you guys doing with
yes. So Keith's guy, the guy you guys work with many times, Sean. He actually
STS Media. Media, let's go.
So I just want to give a big shout out to those guys because, when Sean found out that this was all for charity and he found out, what this was, he really, really took care of us on the cost. So, he's an unbelievable man. And when he found out, what we were doing, he said it's with no brainer, they're going to hook us up. So they're going to do pay-per-view. And, you and Ray, we're hiring you guys to be our color commentating. So that's going to be awesome. And the best thing about this is that it's going to be pay-per-view in Ireland. So the Irish people are really, really excited about this because I've seen 4 of their events already in Detroit, Cincinnati, and Boston. And usually what they do is they have somebody do a Facebook Live video, and then the people have to watch it over there. So once the team from Ireland found out, they're all really excited. So you're going to have probably 1,000 different families in Ireland, watching this thing on pay-per-view, which we're really hoping that would be great because it would really help us out a lot. But it's going to be live over there too. So, and I'm going to have a lot of the South Buffalo pubs. I'm going to have all them play it live too. A lot of them, I'm going to give them the codes and stuff so they can play it.
That's awesome, man. Where can people get the pay-per-view at?
We haven't set it up yet with Keith. Keith's going to take care of that for me. Heath Ferrand actually is doing so much for me too. And when he found out I was doing this, there he is. Keith reached out to me and said he wanted to be a part of it. So honestly, this event wouldn't be where it's at today if it wasn't for Keith. So, when he found out it was for charity and, he meets with me all the time, explains to me how to do things. He's just been really, really helpful. And so he's going to take care of the whole thing for me.
Awesome. So it sounds like Keith is doing a lot too. That's awesome. He's got a lot on his plate. He's got the K4 events coming up, all kinds of stuff. Jimmy, what are you doing for this event? Like I've seen you seem like you got everything going for Pat. Like you're secretary, but I know you're way more than that.
So for the remainder of the campaign here, I'll be looking to promote the fight through my social media platforms. I haven't really been going hard at that and trying to find, sponsors, vendors. I got a few at this point, but just trying to round that out. And then taking care of content during the event, before the event, during the event, looking to possibly get with some of the boxers beforehand, maybe get a list of them when they're coming in and maybe, do some, promo stuff with them before the fight as well. And then any sponsors that I get between now and then, possibly having to do content for them during the fight as well. So,
Man, that'd be super cool. I love it when
Hey,
like you
Jimmy.
guys. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Ray. Go ahead.
Hey, hey, Jimmy, are you going to take the fighters after the fight to the pizzeria?
hey, we could definitely do that. We were talking before you guys got on and said they got to have pizza and wings, right?
Yeah, you can't come to Ireland from Buffalo and not have pizza and wings.
Right.
I'm gonna ask them what their favorite foods are. I'm gonna get their favorite foods. I'm like, dog, we're in Buffalo. We gotta give them some wings, man. That's what we do.
Yeah, I thought about doing some interviews with some of the boxers, get to know them a little bit, So,
Yeah.
So right now, Jeff, all the boxers are staying with host families in and around Buffalo. So I think you probably saw my posts. So what they're doing is we have South Buffalo, Orchard Park, and Orchard Park one guy took 4 kids, and the old First Wars, all these kids were staying. So they're going to train once during the day, and then at night they're going to be free with their host families to do what they want. So if Jimmy wanted to hook up with a couple of kids and bring them up to TC Wheelers, he'll be able to do that. We have somebody who kind of placed all our kids for us, so we kind of know their schedules are going to be. So they're going to be training during the day at host gyms. It'll probably be like Joe Duffy's gym, Southtown's MMA, Casey's Fitness, Joe Riverside's gym, probably West New York MMA. Maybe Ray Cassell's so they can get up there. But I know they're going to go see Niagara Falls on Saturday. But they're going to be just training during the afternoon. So at night they're going to be free. So their host family is going to look for stuff to do there, Jimmy. So I'm going to give you all the contact information for the host family, so you can reach out to them if you want to plan something with some of these guys.
Sounds good. I could probably get started with with some of the Buffalo kids. So if I could get a list of the Buffalo kids,
yep,
that'd be great.
Oh man, Paddy's going in the dark.
Sorry, my TV decides to shift in and out. I haven't learned how to keep the brightness on. Right? It's okay, I can barely function on this.
Man, this stuff is rough for you. It's so funny watching you try and operate in today's society. You're like a caveman. I don't know what's going on.
You know what, man? I get it. I know. I envy you. Like we used to get made fun of as our age when we used to train at Victory MMA with Herbert and those guys. And look at you. You're technologically very sound. I'm still barely able to function a rotary phone.
Yeah, Ray's supposed to be his producer. He's supposed to edit all the videos. I get stuck doing everything.
Yeah.
All Ray does is get the guests now, but that's the best producer I could ever get because he gets some great guests.
Yeah.
Man, dog, what's going on, Pat? You need to get a light in your room.
It's a TV controller. It keeps going out on me. If I don't, it's aggravating.
Oh shit, dog, that is so funny. How old are these kids? Are like
12 to 19, right?
Yeah, so our youngest is 14. We have a 14-year-old fighter, a 15-year-old fighter, a few 16-year-old fighters, a couple 17s. We have one 18, and we have a 19-year-old, and that's our main event, and that's Bobby Flood. So Bobby Flood is sort of a special little individual. He's coming over from Ireland, and he's one of the best over there. So he's going to be the main event of the night, and we have a belt that he's going to fight for against Tommy Neff is making all of our fights. So I don't want to like tell you who Bobby Flood's going up against yet until Tommy secures everything. But the main event is going to be Bobby Flood versus a kid from the area, and they're going to be fighting for a belt. So most of the kids are under 18.
That's awesome. So what are the rules going to be for the fights, and how long are the rounds? Full headgear, like Golden Glove rules, or
yeah, full AMI rules. And then I believe, because Jeff, I've only fought Thai boxing and MMA, but I think boxing is if they're under a certain age, I think it's a minute and a half, right?
I believe so. I'm not exactly sure, and I think from 14 to 18 the time shift. So I'm just asking, like, do you got a special rule, like international rules, or what was going on?
I think it's the basic Golden Gloves rules, because they fought in Golden Gloves over here in Cincinnati before. So I know that it's 3 2-minute rounds. I don't know what Tommy's going to do with the main event yet, but I know for all the other fights it's 3 2-minute rounds. But I think for the 14 and 15-year-old, I think they're a minute and a half rounds.
Okay, yeah, that's really cool. And what ounce gloves do they use for that age groups? Do you know?
I think there's just their standard 16. I would assume. I think.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure, like, because I think that the gloves use 14 once they get over 16, right? I don't know. I'm just conjecturing out of nowhere, but I was just wondering how, like, I'm just imagining what the event's going to look like in my mind, And
I guess the best way to think of it, if you've ever like gone to like the Golden Gloves boxing matches and stuff like that, This is like all the logistics when it came to boxing. Like it's Tommy Neff. He's the first person I called when I found out we were going to do this. As I called Tommy right away and said, Tommy, I got something for you. And he came on board. This was probably back in October. I mean, we didn't announce it until even January. And Tommy and I have been on the phone with Ireland, and there are 4 guys over there. I would say probably a dozen and a half times since October.
Awesome, man. That's super cool. I know Tommy's going to put that together. For anyone that doesn't know Tommy that's watching in the audience, Tommy was like the head boxing coach at Victor MMA. Then he was the head boxing coach. He's still a head boxing coach now at WNY MMA. He's got some very high level pro boxer coming out of there, Alex Calistano.
That's my former brother-in-law, Alex.
Yeah.
He's got a fight coming. He's got a fight coming up.
May 11th, man, right at the casino. Like boxing is big in Buffalo. The Golden Gloves just happened. Like the Golden Gloves happen at right up here at Riverworks as well. Like there's so much boxing that goes on there. Like this is a hot fight for boxing.
Well, that's what we're trying to really bring it back. We actually have some VIPs we're bringing in, and we're going to do a little dedication to some individuals that made boxing when it first came in Buffalo. We're going to have a little, there's going to be some stuff on the back of the fight card and some little bit of things we're going to do in the ring. I don't want to give anything out, but we're doing some special presentations for some of the boxers and their families that, that actually made boxing what it is in Western New York and in Buffalo.
My grandfather actually had a gym in Lockport, boxing gym years ago.
See, I mean, we're trying to make it, this is something, Ireland boxing is more prevalent than anything else. So we want to make this thing so big that, right now Ireland does these trips several times a year, and we're trying to make Buffalo an annual staple on this event. And then it would be like a 6-month thing. They would come here, then in 6 months we'd send a team to Ireland, and then they go back and forth like that. That's what we're trying to hope. I mean, right now we got this here, and we do have a trip coming up, where we can go to Ireland. We're going to send 5 kids, and we want to be a part of the program. If you go to their website, the Bridges Beyond Boxing Ireland, you'll notice they have like a circle, and in the circle it says Cincinnati, Detroit, and Boston. So there's no solidified city for the bottom rocker there, and Jimmy and I want that to be Buffalo. So that's why we're working that hard to make Buffalo the 4th and permanent city on this tour. So we don't have to worry about it. We'll always be a part of it.
So if this event is a success, does that mean they're going to come here, or do you guys need to put more on? What does it entail to actually make this a permanent thing? This sounds like an awesome thing to do for not only for the kids in Ireland, but the kids for Buffalo. They get an opportunity to go to Ireland too. Like, why would you not want that for our people? That's great.
And that's what Ireland's all about. It's all about the kids. It's not just, they can come over and we can lay out the red carpet, put the bells and whistles, and put on a great show for them and give them all they want. But they don't want that. Like when they were talking to Tommy, they don't want to come over here and just sweep the Buffalo kids. Like, Tommy, you got to give us a challenge, and we want your Buffalo kids to want to be a part of this, because the Buffalo kids come over and they say we have 12 fights. If we split 6-6, well, that's great. Now the kids from Buffalo say, we can do this. So let's go to Ireland. Let's spend 2 weeks in Ireland. That my trip will be almost all paid for, if not completely paid for, by us, by this organization, and give these kids a chance to witness something that probably none of them ever would ever be able to.
Man, that's so awesome.
It's all about the kids, Jeff. This whole thing is about the kids. It's not about the fight. It's not about all the bells and whistles we're going to do for this. It's about the kids and how great of a time they have. The opening ceremony is going to be really awesome. I'm telling you, it's going to be something that you've never seen before. It's so cool. We have so many things lined up, but it's all about the kids. And if the kids in Ireland like it, they'll come back. If the kids in Buffalo like it, then we'll be able to keep doing it.
That's awesome, man. I'm so happy that you invited me in. You invited me in like last year. So I know you've been planning this for a really long time. Like last year, like, hey, you want to do this? Like, it was like more than a year ago now. And you're like, I got this thing under the works. Would you do it? And I'm like, for sure, I'll help you out, man. Like, I think that's such a cool idea. And we're donating our time as well. The event's going to be Friday night. You said there's going to be 12 fights?
Right. No, so there's 12 Irish boxers. We're going to, Tommy's going to do probably 1 or 2 lead-in Buffalo versus Buffalo fights. It's not going to be, there's going to be a Buffalo lead-in fight, and there's going to be some Irish fights in a Buffalo versus Buffalo. We're trying to give the Buffalo kids who couldn't get on the card because they they didn't make the weight, weren't the right weight class, or maybe they were too old because Jeff, these kids most of them are under 18, so you got to be within a certain age range. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To compete. So we're going to give some Buffalo kids a chance to be in the card. So even if the Buffalo kids are on the card fighting a Buffalo kid, they can still go to Ireland because they're going to be on the card. We're only going to choose kids from this card to go to Ireland. So that's what that's the thing is that they want to take this challenge. We're going to give them an opportunity to go.
Oh, that's really cool, man. That's awesome that you're rewarding them too.
I had somebody text me earlier or a couple days ago. They had a 17-year-old. I don't know if we got all our boxer fighters selected, but I think he was 17, about 140 pounds. So
just
maybe
reach out to Tommy.
All right, cool.
Yeah, reach out to Tommy. Tommy's been working with Ireland and Team Boston too. Team Boston's really been helping us a lot. Team Boston's coming down too. There's some really cool. There's a guy in there, Jeff. I get introduced to him. You're gonna love this guy. Tommy loves him. He's just he's an old school boxer from Ireland that trains a lot with Paddy Welch or from South Boston. There, he used to train Tommy Egan, the old UFC professional fighter.
Maybe if I saw him, dude, I don't recognize his name. So I'm old too. I forget people.
Well, he was when Dana White did his boxing little like a show there, it was all done out of Welch's Peter Welch.
Peter, yeah, I know Peter Welch. Yeah.
So Peter Welch is so he kind of trains with those guys. He's kind of funny. You'll like this guy. But Team Boston's coming up. I guess there's a group from St. Catharines coming down. So there's actually there's a lot more people coming down to this thing and than we thought. So it's going to be we're hoping that it really goes on well. But we have 12 fights right now, probably 13 at the max. We don't want the show to run long. We're expecting maybe 3 hours at max. Show kicks off at 6 after the opening ceremony, and then we're hoping that all the fights will be run smooth. A little intermission there in the middle. We're going to bring out Don Patterson. We're going to honor him at the intermission. A legend in his own right. So Angelo Castricone will be another one we'll be honoring that night. So,
man, that's awesome. Angelo's been putting on fights forever. We had him on a podcast not too long ago talking about getting his show up too. His show got moved to September, so you guys want to help out a local fight, go fight for Castricones, 500 Pearl Street. Yeah,
Angelo's a great guy. He's also he was the third person. You and Tommy are the first two people I reached out to, and Angelo was the third. So he's been really helpful to give me some ideas and stuff like that. I could have reached out to all the guys we know, Jeff, but I wanted to just kind of, this is an Irish thing, and I wanted to just have just a couple of us run it. So since it's boxing, it was Tommy and Angelo, and then you obviously because you're great at promoting these things, and I wanted you and Ray to be our announcers.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I'm all about. Are you gonna interview the fighters in the ring, or is that like?
Yeah. So we do have I have an MC. Come on, don't. All right, it's a TV here. We have an MC for the fight. He's a YouTube star. He's also a Buffalo cop. His name is Richard High. He does a show called Angry Cops. It's kind of funny, but he's going to be our MC for the night. I'm gonna have post-fight interviews, which I was kind of hoping you or Ray would take that. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I love things.
Yeah, I that's more your thing. Rich is up there for basically to announce the fighters and be our Richard Buffer. You and Ray will be our Joe Rogan and Daniel Cormier.
We're gonna bring Ray some KFC so he fits the role.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So Jimmy, what are you gonna be doing on fight night?
Fight night. What am I going to be doing fight night? So I'm going to be doing what I do, content. And then, like I said, that just gonna depend on, what sponsors, what I may pitch to, sponsors and what they might want me to do. So if, Hidden Valley comes through or, Edie's Ice Cream or whatever the sponsors come through, I'm basically working, letting them know, like, I'll do content for you guys. Maybe I have to represent their table, yada, yada, yada. So it's still unclear exactly what I'm going to be doing, but I will be doing, content of the event to have post fight. Like Paddy had some ideas to possibly, have some content for, that'll be able to be given to, the boxers and their families and stuff like that. So I'll be orchestrating the, ability to have that available for them.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I know you got a lot of individual sponsors going on yourself on your channel and stuff. You want to advertise your things a little bit while we're here?
What was that? Do I want to advertise anything?
Yeah, advertise, plug some of your stuff, man. Like
I mean,
you,
TC Whalers. I mean, that's where's it at? TC Whalers.
and then
That's
you got a
the
collab. You got some collabs going on. You want to talk about those too?
working with Hidden Valley Ranch right now. There's some content for Edie's Ice Cream. Yeah, so I'm basically looking for a select few restaurants to work for locally, but just kind of focused on the bigger brands right now since that's where my value's at, and then try to use those relationships to benefit the local market.
That's awesome, man. Ray's been pumping you up. He's like, man, we got Jimmy Scott on the podcast too.
Ah,
So like, he was super excited to get you.
yeah,
And I'm glad that you're helping out with Paddy, man. Like Paddy's a good guy. Like I
yeah.
can't believe like the guy that used to like trade punches with me all the time. You always like try to look out for the fighters, but dude, I never thought you'd be like pulling something together like this. This is like crazy what's going on with all our guys. Like Keith is doing these shows, you're doing this show. What happened to us? We're old now.
I think that we got smart and realized that getting punched in the face, 7 days a week isn't always the greatest thing in the world. And and then you start realizing what we went through when we first came through the fighting. A lot of the stuff that we first started going at it, Jeff. Remember the smokers and stuff like that. And now these kids have a lot more. We're trying to steer these kids in the right direction. You know what I mean? And give them some great opportunities. We didn't have any of this stuff when we first started doing this. You know what I mean? It's kind of neat how far this has come. So I guess since we've been through it when it was just starting, now we can kind of take some of these kids and kind of give them some of the stuff that we never had. You know what I mean? We just self-promote ourselves.
Well, dude, when I started fighting, it was like bare knuckle, and they would like come and arrest us, like like when the shows were going on, they're like come and arrest the fighters, like because it was supposed to be illegal, but it wasn't really, and we were still doing it. So like, man, I've been in this game a long time. Things have really, really changed. So
Yeah.
like it's awesome to see this.
And I say, yeah, we've seen it all. I mean, we've seen how many different organizations that we fought for. From remember the whole Raging Wolf thing. How that was just. I mean, it's just there's so many things that have come and gone. Now there's so many things out there. You want to put on something that like all the kids are matched. There's no bad matchups here. You know what I mean? Like Tommy's really honest. That's the thing is, I remember when Angel had a kid that fought at Raging Wolf, and the kid had his first fight, and the other kid came from Central New York, and he had 15 fights, but somehow he was 0-0 on the card. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I don't want to see happen, especially these are kids, you know what I mean? I mean, we have a 14-year-old kid from Ireland that's got 20 boxing bouts. We're not going to put up against a 14-year-old kid from Buffalo that's got one, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I want to make sure these kids have the opportunity because, and just I want it to be a fair fight. And, sometimes these kids today are a little bit too worried about their records. You know what I mean? They don't realize, that it's a record doesn't mean anything. Jeff, you and I both know, and Ray, you and I, all of us know a lot of guys that are tough as nails. They may not have the best record, but
Right.
if you meet them in a dark alley, it's the last guy you want to meet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And so like you're not really competing against any sort of organizations. I know like the MMA tickets and like the prime tickets for boxing at the casino, they're like super expensive, like $30 price point. Like that's amazing that you guys are doing it so cheap for people to come out and watch. Like I think that's a really good
Right.
idea, keeping the tickets so low.
Well, I reached out to a lot of them, and I try to I reached out to a lot of the guys that run like Angelo, and they run the boxing shows. Don Patterson, I reached out to him. I said, listen, I'm not competing in anybody. This is the whole goal. We want to take kids from Buffalo. We want to give them an opportunity, and to go to Ireland. We want to take these kids from Ireland and show them what Buffalo is all about, and have them embrace this Buffalo fight community, whether it's boxing, MMA. Because these kids all love MMA too. They don't just love boxing. They're just into boxing. I mean. So we want to make this all about the kids. So I try to reach out to everyone that puts on the boxing and the cage fights and MMA fights and say, hey guys, I just want to do this event for the kids. I don't want to compete against anyone at all and anybody whatsoever, especially when it comes to the boxing. That's why I reached out to Don and said, Don, this is my goal. Help me bring kids over here, give them a great show. And then Don, be a part of this. Help me take kids and send them to Ireland. You know what I mean? How am I take a kid from Buffalo that, maybe comes from like Niagara Falls, doesn't come from the best situation, but yet I'll get to give him 2 weeks in Ireland. You know what I mean? Something that even you and I, wouldn't be able to do as adults. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the whole goal. You know, I don't care what your record is. I don't care what gym you come from. I don't care who you know. You know, if you fight on the card, and whether you win, lose, or draw, if you want to fight on this card, I will give you an opportunity to go to Ireland, and Jimmy and I will make sure that we do whatever we can to pay for all of it.
That's awesome. And then I only got one more question about the event itself. Who's the sanctioning body, and like are you using USA Boxing? Who are you doing to sanction this fight?
So yeah, Tommy and Joe Riverside took care of all that. So Joe's another one it's taking care of the boxing stuff. We're using his ring, USA Boxing. Doc Libby will be there. Jeff and Ray, you guys both know her well. She'll be there. So I said whenever it comes to any of the logistics stuff, you know, I reached out first to Don Lilly too about some questions, and Don hooked me up with Greg Gelinas. You know who Greg is?
I do not know Greg.
Greg used to train a Victory with us. He's part of the Greater Buffalo New York Sports Commission, so he does a lot. He refs a lot of wrestling matches and stuff, but he's helping me out with a lot. But you know, I reached out to everybody that I could think of that's sort of in the industry to sort of give me some direction, and I'm letting Tommy and Joe take care of that stuff. I'm taking care of Team Ireland, you know, getting the family set up. You know, I have people like Jimmy and taking care of the sponsorship. So it's Joe. I have another woman named Eva, a friend of mine named Baron, a friend of mine named Charles. Charles is running the security. Like I have each person, we have a board of directors. Each person kind of has a task of what they do. And that's why Jimmy was the guy when I told everybody, I have a social media influencer that I'm going to contact, that I want him to kind of run the show, because I'll let him do his thing there. He does his thing. I take care of Team Ireland. Everybody's got their own job. So, you know, it was a lot of money. This cost us a lot of money. Cost us a real lot of money, Jeff. We could be full. We can be honest with you. It costs over $13,000 to put this on.
Man,
you know what I mean.
So who puts that money up front? Is this coming out of you, or where's this coming from?
Well, I will be honest. I reached out to a friend of mine, Senator Tim Kennedy, who I said, Tim, I need something to get this thing going. This is what it is. So he donated some money, and then from there, we just started hitting up the sponsors, and we broke down our costs of what we have to pay. You know, we have to help pay for Team Ireland to come over, you know, help house them, you know, transportation, you know, we had to get them 2 vans for the week, things like that. You know, and then the basic cost to put on a fight. Every sponsor that's come in, we've used that money and put it directly towards the fight. And then what we're hoping is that we sell tickets, because the amount of tickets we sell, that's how much money we'll have left over to actually go to Ireland. You know what I mean? So the fight was almost paid off. We still have a few more things we have to take care of first. But once we do pay that off, then the ticket sales, you know, after we pay Riverworks their fair share, then we get to pay for our trips to Ireland for these kids from Buffalo.
Man, that's awesome.
And the things too, Jeff, I forgot to mention, I'm sorry, is that we're a registered 501(c)(3). So every sponsor that donates to this gets a tax deductible form. So it doesn't matter what they donate, it's a tax write-off form. So because we're a registered 501(c)(3) with New York State and with the IRS.
Awesome, man. So when we put this out on our social media, we'll definitely plug all that. Please send me as much information as you can, and we'll plug it. Like we'll probably do it like once or twice a week, all the way up to, especially if we're gonna be there. Maybe we'll do like a funny skit or something about it, Ray, and we'll try and get it get it out there. We'll do boxing, kicking the balls. Everyone likes when I kick in the balls. It'll be a funny video.
Oh man. Oh no,
I've been kicking the balls in years. We definitely gotta do that.
It's no kicking in boxing, Caveman.
I know, that's why it's funny.
I also want to mention one other too is Kevin Keenan. He runs the Maid of the Mist in Niagara Falls. He contacted me, and he gave all the kids and the coaches a free ride in the Maid of the Mist. So I want to just kind of plug
nice.
him. Yeah, he donated that to us as well. So, you know, there's a lot of people are reaching out and saying, how can I help with the kids? And like, what can we do for them? And honestly, anything they do, you know, we're appreciative of, whether it's money or something like that. You know what I mean? It's a real big help, because it's this has got to go well. So next year, Jeff and Ray, we're talking about the Battle of Buffalo 2, or whatever name Jimmy and I and the board come up with for our next fight. You know what I mean?
I hope you come up with something better than that. I'm sure.
Well, that's why I have Jimmy. That's why I have Jimmy. All right. You know,
we'll curate.
Hopefully, for the next show, we get Mickey Ward.
What was that?
Mickey Ward, he said.
I said, hopefully for the next show we get.
Yeah,
Well,
I
make it
try to
work, bro.
contact them. I'm trying to get them on the podcast.
I hear you.
that would be fantastic because I would because he's right from Boston. I know the guys from Boston are coming down,
Right.
so that'd be great.
Yeah. Oh, we should talk to him about it. Maybe we could get him on a podcast and talk about this too.
Yeah.
Oh, he's my hero. I have his signed glove behind me here.
Kind of my hero too. That's why Ray's trying to get him.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, Ray,
Ray-
you work your magic like that. Okay,
Yeah, we have Ray's
Ray
boxing hero
work
on,
his
so
magic.
now I was gonna get mine. All right, guys.
Yeah,
so,
I'm gonna be on Joey Molino's podcast. I probably could talk about the event too there.
Love it. What's the distribution of this podcast?
So right now we're streaming live on Facebook on my 2 pages and on YouTube. And then when we go in and we edit it and then we repost it and then we post it again on our YouTube channel. So like when you do it live on YouTube, it hides in the background kind of. So we repost it and then we get a lot of people to watch it actually after it is posted. So like like when people scroll through now, they usually watch it. So we get usually between like 3,000 and 1,000 people by the end of the night after we're done streaming.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, I see Lord Niz already chimed in and said hello.
Yeah, Ed Rogers. Do you see Ed Rogers too?
No,
said,
Ed, if you're listening, Ed, answer your text messages, sir.
He said, Paddy, got your message. Please call me after lunch tomorrow. I want to help you, brother. So Ed's a sponsor of our show too. So I'm sure that he'll come out and he'll help you out. He's helped us.
Ed's a great guy. Ed's an awesome guy. I've known Ed for forever. We all have. You, me, and Ray have known Ed forever.
Yeah, he's helped us with a lot of sponsor money for the stuff. Helped us give money for the fighters because we give that Caveman's Corner bonus award to all the fighters and stuff. So we definitely done a good job getting through him. Any final thoughts?
Not thoughts. And just I want to invite you, Jeff and Ray, if you guys are available on May 27th when the kids come into town. We're going to do a kind of a big welcoming for them. It's going to be at the Old First Ward Community Center. They're driving in from Boston, and then they're going to meet all their host families there. I can tell you that Pete Gallivan from Channel 2 is going to do a big story on this on the 28th. Pete reached out to me. Pete's a good guy. He's going to do a big sort of like a lead into how boxing came in the Old First Ward and how the old bare knuckle Irish boxers started in the Old First Ward, because the Old First Ward Community Center and the Buffalo Irish Center are like kind of like the 2 fixtures of this thing. So he's going to do a story, but if you guys want to meet the kids, meet the coaches that day before they get off, Jeff,
That's Memorial Day, right? So the 27th, they're coming on Memorial Day? Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, I have off from work. That's perfect. That's a great time. I was just checking my calendar. I wasn't like looking at other stuff. I was definitely checking my calendar. I got so much stuff going on in May. I just wanted to make sure that I was available on that day. But I should be fine.
I'll be down for that.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll get you guys involved with that. There's a couple other events that they have going on that I'll talk to you guys about, invite you guys to, that Jimmy and I will be at with the board. But it's just Jeff, I've tried for 2 years to get this thing going, and I literally consumes every single minute of my day. And there's many a sleepless nights I had worrying if we were going to raise the money for this. You know what I mean? And we're real close.
I definitely heard it. And I know, like, you've been working with Keith. Keith has, like, I've talked to Keith about all these similar problems when he was doing the first couple of shows of his organization. So I understand what you're going through. And you're doing it for a nonprofit, so it's even worse for you because, like, not only like it may not be your money, but like it's your name and your reputation, and like you're not making anything on it. So like,
no.
I appreciate everything you're doing, man. That's a lot of work for nothing.
No, I'm not making a sense, and I want to make sure that I could give enough to these charities that it's worthwhile. You know what I mean? Like the more people that come to the show, the more money I can give away, because Jimmy and I are full disclosure about everything we bring in. I mean, like I told you on live TV, it's cost Jimmy and I $13,000 to put this thing on. You know what I mean? And we started with nothing. Like we have nothing to start with. So it's just a lot of hard work and a lot of just selling people the idea of kids living here for a week. Kids seeing Buffalo for the first time, and then the kids from Buffalo saying, "I fought a kid from an international fight. I fought a kid from Ireland, and now I get to go to Ireland." That's what I want to see. I want to see the smiles in these kids' faces when Jimmy and I tell them, "Hey, you're up. You can go to Ireland next year."
Awesome, man. And what do we got for final thoughts from you, Jimmy? And who do the sponsors or people trying to get some money to you? Who do they contact? How do they go about doing it?
I mean, they can reach out to me through email. That's how I've been handling it so far. So yeah.
Awesome. So if you send me some contact information, Pat, and all kinds of stuff, we'll post this all, and we'll keep posting on our site too. And we'll do at least once a week. Ray's super good on it. He'll put like some silly faces on it, and it'll get like uh 50,000 views in like 2 minutes. Like all the
Yeah.
stupid posts do, like those silly ass faces that you put out there. Like I can't believe you get so many people to just look at that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, people like that are good. Like when our fight poster was made by Josh Ketry. Josh Ketry, he's really good at that stuff too. Josh has been a big help. People are just good at things like that. Jeff, I can barely even keep my TV brightness on.
Dude, I have seen. All right, man. With all that, I think we'll get out of here. 45 minutes is perfect. And thank you guys so much for doing this. Buffalo needs things like this. These kids needs things like this. I don't really care about no offense about the people from overseas, but the Buffalo kids, this is awesome for our guys.
Yep.
Like this is amazing, and like I know it's a lot of your heritage, and I know it's like a lot of pride for you. So I can't wait to see this. I can't wait to see how happy you are when this is successful and we got a whole bunch of people. I'm excited too. I can't wait to call some fights too.
I can't wait to see the card Tommy put together. Tommy has a couple of our local heroes on this card, which you're gonna like.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've only I've only called like really adult fights. I never called like youth fights, so I'm kind of excited about that too. I like to see the speed of fights, and like I'm excited to see it. Like I can't wait.
Yeah,
I'm pumped to see it.
Just so you know, final thing, we have 10 boys and 2 female fights. That's what we have in the card right now.
Awesome.
Okay.
I can't wait to see that. Man, the girl fights are always awesome at these, so make sure you're there for that one for sure. And then is Riverworks getting all the concessions, or do you guys get a chunk of concessions too?
I think it's pretty standard with Riverworks. They take the beer, the food sales, and then we have an agreement on the cost for the tickets and the rental fee and stuff like that.
Okay,
Hey,
cool.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
Jimmy, you gotta try out the tater tot steak sandwich at the Riverworks.
Yeah. All right. I'll definitely check it out.
Ray, is that what you do when you go like sneak away from the broadcast booth? They're eating
After my
tater tot
fight, that's
sandwiches?
what Michael Schultz bought me a tater tot steak sandwich. It was pretty good.
Okay, I would not recommend that before the fight start. You may need to go to the bathroom. I would recommend not buying any food from Riverworks and just buying some extra tickets to help Paddy. Like eat some food at home and buy some extra tickets instead. Like let's support these guys.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
We'll be back next week, guys. So make sure that you pay attention. Hopefully it'll be Saturday, Sunday. We got some K4 stuff to do. Talk a little bit more about Paddy's show. Hopefully maybe we can dig some details out when we go back in the green room.
Yep.
And we can spill all the beans for you guys for next week's show. All right, guys. Have a great one. We're out of here.